Guys, I know most of you have had this question, and today we are going to tackle it. Which question are we talking about? We're talking about the 10 most sought questions about boreholes. So, guys, welcome back to Project Explain. This is Davey, your plug for boreholes and other projects. So, guys, it's been a while since we had a video up, but all is well. I hope you've been enjoying what already been posted because, as I said, always my content is educational, so you can always come back and reference from it all the time. So, guys, we're going to do a quick video of 10 most sought questions about boreholes. This is a question that everybody who has a borehole, who wants a borehole, or who wants to have one has in their mind, wrangling and asking themselves these questions. And trust me, when I mention them, I'm gonna read your mind. Yeah, guys. So the first question is everybody asks themselves, how deep should the borehole be? Yes, I know that's a question that very many people ask, and I can tell you from a point of experience and a point of having done this, this will only depend on the geology of your area. That's what can only determine the depth of your borehole. So let's reference in like Kenya. Kenya has many regions, so you may find you in the coast. The geology in the coast, the geology in a place like Nairobi, it's very different. So you may find a borehole in Nairobi is going up to 450 meters. Yeah, so guys, so if you depends on the geology of the area, that's what I was saying before I got distracted. So it all depends. If you are in Nairobi, let's say I was talking about Nairobi. Nairobi, we find boreholes are going up to 450 meters, and not the whole of Nairobi. You may find somewhere like Karen, it's deeper. You go somewhere like Imara or towards Embakasi, they are shallow. So the geology of a place usually matters the depth of borehole. So that's, I know most people usually have that question. And we go to the next question, and many people ask themselves, how much does it cost to drill a borehole? Actually, that is what everybody who wants to drill a borehole wants to know in their mind. How much does drilling a borehole cost? So I will say outright that costs of a borehole depends on depth, on casing material, on the pump installation. Having said that, this means that the deeper the borehole, kinda the more expensive it will be because you'll end up using more materials and you'll end up drilling more meters, and you'll find yourself installing a pump at a lower depth than someone who has drilled a shallow borehole. So when it comes to the casing material, I say the casing material, there are usually two materials that you use. You usually use either PVC or steel. So if you're using PVC and steel, but me, I usually find the price is almost the same or slightly higher for the PVC, because when you compare the price of PVC one, which is 3 meters, the casing which is 6 meters, they're almost the same. They're almost the same. But you will find that where you can install PVC, it's very different because you need to get a very stable connection where you don't have boulders, where you don't have caving, so you don't have to actually force it to like go down the hole. So for PVC, it is a very tricky situation, and it's a very unique situation again because you can only install these casings where the formation is okay, like it will go seamless without any forcing. That's why you find places with boulders, places with difficulty when you are drilling, you cannot do PVC. So, and now on the third thing about the costing is the pump. Pump usually varies with very many things. It may vary one with the depth. The depth is so deep, you may find you're using more pipes, a large cable in terms of length and in terms of millimeters. Since the deeper you go or the longer you go, the cable size usually varies depending on the motor that you've installed. So number one, when it comes to pump, is the depth is deep, you will use bigger pump to pump the water up. The cable will be more, the pipes will be more, and yeah, I think that's it when it comes to the pump. Now, I think that question is handled, and now we're not going to costs. We're just talking about things that usually influence these things. So we go to point number 3 of my points here, and most people usually ask before they even drill a borehole, how long does it take to drill a borehole? This depends again, one with formation, with depth, with the kind of drilling you're doing. Those are different methods of drilling. And in case you encounter a challenge or a breakdown, all these factors usually determine that a normal borehole should be drilled within a week or less. But if it's tricky or like there's challenges, it can go up to even a month. Sometimes you get stuck tools and take a month trying to retrieve them, but on normal occasion, a ball that is okay, there's no challenges. From 3 to 7 days, you should be done drilling, casing, installing of gravel, development, and test pumping that you can do within that time period. No, you can't do test pumping within that time period. You can only do drilling, casing, gravel installation, flashing for those within those 3 to 7 days. Then maybe 10 days, you can 10 to 14 days now you can be done the test pumping, then do your water quality analysis. So it ranges and these usually matter. So be ready for it. It may take 5 days, it may take 20 days. It all depends. And again, when it comes to formations, there are formations that are usually very difficult. So you find drilling takes longer. You may find in a whole day you may drill 30 meters. And there are formations you will drill 100 meters in one day or 150 meters in one day. So the whole depends on that. And again, when you talk of the type of drilling you're doing, if you're doing air, it's faster. If you're doing mud drilling, it's slower. So it all depends. Geology, where you're drilling, the type of the borehole, the depth, and the formation. Okay, guys. So that is point number 3 of how long does it take to drill a borehole. Then you go to point number 4, and this will be, do you really need a permit to drill a borehole in Kenya? Yes, you need a permit. You need one permit from Water Resource Authority and another one from NEMA, which is the National Environment. So NEMA, you need to have it. You need to have one from Water Resource Authority, that is authorization to drill. And if you're drilling somewhere where you have a service provider that usually offers water to your area, you have to seek an objection and they have to allow you so that you can proceed with the application. And if you are drilling in a county that usually charge for mining, you have to pay for it. And so permits are very important and they are there, and those permits are usually accompanied by what? An hydrological survey report. Okay, so that is point number 4. Point number 5, we go to how much water can a bowl produce? Again, we say this is usually a range. You can get as low as 0.5 meter cube or 500 liters per hour. You can get up to 200 liters, 200,000 liters per hour. So it all depends with the formation and sometimes geologically areas. There are areas that we know they have high yields. There are places that they have they have low yields, like any volcanic areas, especially in Kenya. Any volcanic area usually get high yield, but when you go to basement areas, very low yields. So it will depend on where your land is and where you are located, especially in Kenya. I usually like to geographically locate Kenya because I'm in Kenya and that's the geology I am familiar with. Other countries I don't know, but obviously they do change, they do shift because they are not the same. Yeah, so you've heard that. It depends. It depends, and your survey will guide you very well on a range because once survey is being done, there is a science part of it and there is a reference part of it, such that the geologist will go to the Ministry of Water, you will go and get the results of your surrounding borehole, or even from WRA. You'll get the results of surrounding boreholes, and these results usually have water water hills. Specifically, they will tell you the depth that those boreholes will be drilled around you, the distance between your place and them, all the characteristics of the static water level of that borehole, the pumping water level, they will tell you, and the tested yield. So you will be able to zone around you'll see this area. Most boreholes are being drilled at 200 meters. The yield is ranging from 8 to 10. So you may know you should be around there. But you can find more or less depending on the survey, because survey is one of the most important things when you are doing a borehole. So point number 5 is how much water a borehole produce. I already explained to you. That's now we go to another controversial question, and I did a video about it and you did not watch some. So reference the video that is before this one. And people usually have this question: can a borehole dry up? Yes, a borehole can dry up due to overpumping, drought, or too many boreholes in an area, or a shift of a aquifer. Let's say you are drilled 200 meters and you're enjoying an aquifer of 150 meters. Then somebody around your area drills 250 meters. You find that water may shift, and that aquifer may be dried up. If so many people have drilled around you and they have drilled at a deeper depth than you. So you said overpumping, which is very risky. Do not overpump your bowl. If you overpump your bowl, you strain your aquifers and you may end up drying up your borehole. And again, drought can affect. But this is so unlike for boreholes in terms of it takes so long for a drought to affect boreholes because our boreholes do discharge. It is not there is so much directly, so much by the rain of that time. It takes time. So what I can say most is pumping and too many boreholes in the area and the depths around that area, but also consider drought can also cause a borehole to dry up. Okay, so point number 7. This is a question that many people will ask. How long does a borehole last? A borehole will last up to 50 years or more, depending on what? The construction of that borehole. If it was well constructed, that borehole can last very long. What I mean by construction, I mean when you're drilling your borehole, did you place your casings at the right place? And when I mean the right place, was a plane placed at the right place? Was a screen placed at the right place? Did you use the right gravel? Did you actually install gravel? Did you develop your borehole well? Did you use chemicals to treat your borehole in case it had clays? Did you stabilize it? All that. And again, maintenance of that borehole. And again, never overpump your borehole. So make sure when you follow those steps, your borehole can last for long, and your geology had done a good survey of the area, and yeah, and recommended you to drill to a depth that is sufficient. That most people around the area will drill almost the same depth, so you will not find that issue of people drilling around your area and they have drilled lower than you. But there is a law in Kenya these days that if somebody is drilling within 800 meters around you and you are able yourself to request Water Resource Authority to ask him or her to block all the aquifers that are above you so that it can drill deeper than you but block all the aquifers so that it does not drain your aquifer. So that is more into details. You can go and read what hacks it's written there. And number 8 is borehole water safe for drinking? Yeah, it should be safe, but what is supposed to be done after test? Only you need to take the water to a lab and do a physical and chemical and biological tests. Once you get your results, you'll now be able to know if this water needs treatment or it is okay for drinking. So I think that's just it. Test your water, and after the results, check the parameters that is above the world health standards or the CAPE standards. Treat it, or if it's not necessary, you can consume it as it is. But you need to make sure your water is tested, and if treatment is needed, you need to treat it. Point number 9. What equipment is needed for a borehole? Okay. What equipment is needed for a borehole? The first equipment should be a pump. Yes, because you need a pump to pump your water out of your borehole. So you need a pump, you need a motor, you need the delivery pipes to get your water from the pump up to the surface. You also need a cable to power your motor. You also need a tank to store your water. You need some pipeline plumbing works, and we also need the controls of that system, like a control panel or a solar system. If you're using solar, you can use inverters. If you're using the mains, the control panel. So all those components are what you can say are equipment of a borehole, leaving out the casing, which is a permanent structure for the borehole. So the equipment should be that pump, motor, pipes, cables, uh, the control panels, the plumbing works, and the tank, which is the storage. So the last and then the list, which is point number 10. How do you know if there is water underground? I know you ask yourself, okay, these people are drilling here, they are drilling there. How did they know there is water underground, and at that point they are drilling, there is water? Okay, back to survey. You need to do an hydrogeological survey report in your parcel of land so that your hydrogeologist can scientifically establish where water is located in your farm, and the best part farm where you can see potential yields or high yields of water in your farm. So guys, if you follow those 10 steps, you're clear. When you want to start a bore, you will be knowing the steps, you will be knowing, and I will hazard the question that most people usually have. So guys, thank you for watching. This has been David, and this is Project Explained. Can you guys remember to watch, like, and watch the video to the end, like and subscribe, and drop a comment. I think drop a comment, tell me something what you think about everything. So guys, thank you, and peace out. Love you guys.